Hey everybody, this is Kyle. Here's a clip from a live stream with Matthew. And I've been working on this intro, have like about 14 different takes, because I know no matter what I say here, I'm going to get blasted in the comments. There's going to be Allie fans that, are going to hone in on just little specific phrases or whatever and tell us how wrong we are. And I get that. If you're a fan, I know how the internet works. You got to do your duty. But I wanted to give a real quick explanation to some of my thinking. Allie sings wonderfully. And that I've heard that her dad runs her channel. I don't know if that's accurate, But this video is titled Best Shallow Duet Ever. Ever. Now that might not be the most accurate, but titles like that on YouTube, you have to do things. I do titles like that because you want people to click, because that's how things work. To me, my part of my thinking of with Allie is, since she sounds like another very famous singer. I've heard 2 performances of her so far, and they both have the same vocal quality. And for me, whenever I am somewhere and I hear, hey, here's this new singer that she's great and all this stuff, and they sound just like Adele, I'm like, I hope they grow out of that. I hope they find their own voice. And to me, it's kind of like being painted in a corner. You're on YouTube, you're doing things, making covers, playing on the street. You're making ad money, you're making probably a lot more in tips and things like that, and finding other revenue streams. It's hard to break out of that corner and find your own voice, because that's the whole thing with being a musician. You want to sound like you. You don't want to sound like other people, unless you just want to play covers for the rest of your life, which is totally fine. Lots of musicians do that. They play cover bands, make cover videos and things like that. So that's part of my thinking. I would love to hear her sound like her, not like Adele, So, and I hope that explanation makes a little bit of sense, because not meaning it in a disrespectful way. If you've been somewhere and you've heard a couple dozen singers that all sound the same, you might see what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm excited to see this cover, because whenever somebody titles it like the most epic cover of it, or I guess best shallow duet, okay, and it's just all caps too. So I guess that's why the kind of shouting it at you. These they look pretty young.
Yeah, well, let me preface.
Please,
Sherlock.
yes, introduce Kyle.
Yeah. Okay. So Allie is performer in the UK, and apparently, as commoners let me know, her dad is really behind pushing her, and so the click on me value of the titles, a lot of her titles are like that, like, oh my god, you won't believe his voice, things like that. I had Allie suggested to me, and I usually ignore suggestions because I try to make them follow my own path. But I clicked on it and I heard her and was kind of disappointed. But when the guy with her, and this was a different song, started to sing, I was like, okay, I need to stop this because I need to react to it right now. And some really thoughtful person left me a very heartwarming comment about how I hate YouTubers that say it's the first time reacting. They're still full. It's like, dude, why would I say it's my first time if it wasn't my first time hearing her? So to be clear, this is my second time hearing Allie Sherlock. Now, for me personally, and people might hate on me, I don't like her voice. It sounds like Adele to me. Ooh. I'll let you two decide if you have that reaction or not. To me, what got me and why I suggested this video is this guy, Jacob. His voice, I heard it, I was like, stupefied. And I don't get stupefied too often doing these things. Usually I'm Mr. Analytical Robot, as people are calling me in the comments on other things. So there is, I know it's like, somebody left me a comment like, well, I know who Kyle is, but the guy in the bottom is like a robot. I wonder if he's intimate, if he still acts like he has no emotions. I was like, actually, that's me at the bottom. I am Kyle. And yes, I do. I thought that was
all right, so without further ado, the best shallow duet ever with Jacob Koopman. Shallow from A Star Is Born, Allie Sherlock. Here we go.
this modern world? Oh, do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself.
Tell me something, boy. I'm too tired trying to fill that void. Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself. Off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow, in the shallow, in the shallow, we're far from the shallow now. We're far from the shallow now. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci
Okay.
beaucoup.
No, I'm not French.
Let me just say something.
Yeah. Do you want to take a quick break?
I was more of a fan of the original. That I feel like she took the soul out of it.
I have a lot to say about this. And I want to be very careful about how I approach this. Okay? Because I am a singer-songwriter performer, and I'm a music teacher. And I'm a voice coach, specifically. And I don't want to come across sounding like, oh, yeah, I think I'm better than her or something. Because that's not at all it. I think this girl has a very, very good voice and a lot of potential. However, she needs training. Okay? Now, if you intended that cover to be like as if Adele was doing it, then they titled it wrong. Like, what if Adele did the duet with somebody that was trying to sound like Bradley Cooper? I don't know. I don't think it was. I'm sure there's a better cover of that somewhere. I'm sorry. My first impression, the guitar was a tiny little bit out of tune. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be picky, but God darn it. Gosh darn it. If it was me, I would have tuned the guitar first before
Grab that E string.
That first chord, I would have hit that chord, and I would have done like some sort of a little vocal, like something. I would have started just talking, go off into a tangent for 3 seconds while I fix those 1 or 2 strings, and then first of all, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. Second of all, The guy had a good voice. I liked his voice. The girl had a good voice. I think both of them were young, and both of them have a lot of potential. The guy was rushing, like I was talking about how I would rush. I would be hard not to rush. He was rushing, and the song was not as slow and tender as it should have been. And so I think that damaged. So I think that Jacob rushing a little bit made it hard for Allie to be really expressive. But the way that Allie was like singing almost with like an Adele tone rather than a Lady Gaga tone, which are arguably somewhat similar. Arguably a little bit. Like
I think
Arguably.
Lady Gaga's.
it's different. They both have
Lady
opera
Gaga
background,
is-
right?
Lady Gaga is more breathy, and Adele's more.
She's more throaty.
Full.
Yeah.
Yeah, full chested, I guess.
Right.
Throaty,
yeah.
yes.
Deeper.
There it is.
Deeper, like fuller. Adele is more of a fuller belt, right? And Lady Gaga is more of that Madonna / with a little bit more rock edge
Yeah.
belt, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, none of them compare to Floor, but that's my own thing. I'm just a floor head. And she was like in her phone. Like that was one other thing. And this is hard because, you know, I read charts and stuff too. So, you know, I understand. I'm being self-critical at the same time. This is reminding me that when I'm performing not to be too in my, you know, because I kept noticing she was like constantly scrolling on her phone. I don't know if she had some teeny little display. It only showed like 3 or 4 lines of the song at a time or whatever. But I don't know. It just made me feel like she was somewhat distracted. So, like I said, I had a lot to say about that. And I think that they're both very talented. I think they both have an incredible amount of potential. And I don't think that I'm better than either of them. I think that I could coach both of them to help them to be incredible and become way better than me.
I just felt like it was. I mean, yeah, they definitely you know, have some potential, but I did feel like I was kind of at amateur hour, and it didn't grab me. I guess because of that, like the guitar being out of tune, like Matt mentioned, that as soon as I noticed that, I was like, oh. Just made me kind of cringe, even if it's a little bit out of tune. And then like just I don't know that. Yeah, like the original. I don't know, Lady Gaga started out like soft in the original, which I thought that was kind of cool, and then she got all enthused and started belting. I mean that for me put some heart and soul, the original, I mean. But she just started off full bore and just went for it, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm saying I could teach her, because like what I'm really good at is listening to you know, a singer and figuring out, okay, what are they doing? How are they making this particular tone for this particular song? And you don't ever want to like any really, really great singer can sing every song with its own unique timbre. And so that's why we can debate back and forth as to who is really, really great. Because some singers that people in general hold up as really great, they sing every song with pretty much the same timbre. And to me, that doesn't make the cut. Okay? No offense. To me, to be really great, you got to be able to sing each song differently for that song so that the performance is unique to that song.
Yeah.
And that's what I strive to do. Even though maybe I'm not as good of a singer as some of these people, I always try to sing every song in its own unique way so that it has its own character.
Of course, his guitar was out of tune. But what caught me
terribly, just noticeably.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Well, and what I thought was good is both of them sang on pitch, completely ignoring the out of tune guitar. I mean, that was a good sign.
I didn't hear tuning issues in the vocals. The vocals sounded in tune.
Oh yeah. Whenever she started to sing, I noticed, and it might be because I just heard some Billie Eilish earlier today, a little Billie Eilish inflection, and maybe it's because Eilish and Adele, you know, there's that influence connection there too. I don't know. To me, like when she started, it could be, the lower register or the way I guess the like more of a chess register, the way she started singing made me think of that. But I always think of going to open mics and you hear, hey, this is someone's first time singing in front of people, and they get up and they're nervous, and then they sound like Adele, which is like almost every indie kind of singer. It's like, it's like, get your own voice. It's like, use what you're given. You don't need to sound like Adele.
If you're covering an Adele song, it makes sense to use those inflections. And
if you want to impersonate Adele,
right,
covering Adele,
exactly. If that's your goal,
right. So
cool. Right on. I liked it though. Good pick.